Hello, I'm your host, Alex Parra, and I'm here today with Jimmy.
Hello.
Sean.
Hello.
And Irving.
Hello.
Today on SPOTcast, a football coach at Mountain Ridge High School was arrested for asking an undercover officer posing as a 14-year-old boy online for a sexual relationship. Asking for the officer to meet him in Mesa, all he finds are cops ready to arrest him. This shows that even the very people that we're supposed to look up to in education can be child predators. So, should school districts create some form of an app for teachers and students to communicate with? Or should teachers altogether not communicate with students via social media? From Spot 1 to 27, this is SPOTcast. So, the first question I want to ask you guys is, has this event taken any form of trust away from teachers?
I feel it has, because the relationship between a student and educator is a crucial aspect in learning. When severed, it can cause separation between the students and teachers in form of how they view the education as well as how they see their teachers.
Sean?
Yeah, exactly. I feel like, as for myself, I still trust my teachers the same as like some of my other students would, but I can also see at the same time that people could trust their teachers less because of this incident and how sexual misconduct can affect classrooms.
Any point in your view, Irving?
Yeah. As for me, I think the type of community that we have in my school, definitely there's a lot of trust. But I could definitely see that in other communities, other schools, this lack of trust can be really evident. So I think it all depends on the kind of environment that the school itself creates.
I feel like this doesn't just affect the students itself, but the parents' mentality to trust the very teachers in school. The fact that a teacher would do this kind of worries parents all around for their own child, that they fear that the teachers might, try to do something when they're not even supposed to, since they're responsible for the students' safety. Right. So the next question I want to ask Sean first is, do you feel safe around teachers at all at school now?
Well, with my teachers, I feel like they're perfectly capable of teaching me and don't do any illegal acts, at least. But since I don't know them personally, there might be complications in the future if teachers do have any problems with their students.
Jimmy?
To add on to that, I feel like it all depends on the student's perspective already. Since if a student doesn't like the teacher to begin with or have a distant trust, it can make it to where if a teacher has a bad reputation, it can enhance that separation, as well as make it to where students who are quote unquote bad can have a negative connotation towards the teacher, as in spreading gossip and lies about them.
Irving?
Yeah, as for me, I definitely trust my teachers because I think it's a mutual relationship that the student trusts the teacher and the teacher trusts the student. So I think it's not only up to the teacher to enhance that trust, it's also up to the student to look up to the teacher and trust the teacher. But definitely the school itself has to promote amongst its teachers that trust aspect on both sides.
I myself, I'm fully trustworthy of my teachers. They've been with us through many trials and errors, helped us along our way to get where we are today. I feel like it's just that one teacher that pretty much kind of ruined the image for the teachers themselves, but in my opinion, I would still trust the teachers at my school, no matter what. Irving, I would like to ask you this question. What are some communication cues from teachers you would find suspicious of? By that, I mean, what would get you give you a bad vibe from teachers when they come up to you?
Well, definitely when they speak to me outside of class and social media, definitely I would be suspicious if they invite me to a place like in a situation that we looked at. But in the past, I have communicated with teachers via Facebook, via Instagram, follow each other on social media for the purpose of, checkups, how are you doing? But definitely wouldn't let it get past me going alone with someplace to a teacher. So I think these cues are to be taught by the school and just enforced so that we do create that trustworthy environment, but not let it get to the point where a student meets up in Mesa and with a teacher.
And you, Sean, any acts that would get you suspicious?
Yeah, it should be obvious if the teachers engage in any sexual acts, because the way I communicate with my teachers are through like Edmodo, Teams, these type of applications where we can just talk about our homework and all that. But if the teacher talks to you personally and in a more like personal fashion about like your life, anything about you, that might raise awareness or suspicion.
And you, Jimmy?
I like to disagree with that, because there are times where a teacher could not only look at a student through a learning environment, but also see how they are as a human being. If there's like a concern where there might be a potential problem in their life, it's a teacher's responsibility to address those and make sure that not only they feel safe on campus, but off campus as well.
So went into that, I believe that there are certain boundaries to which a teacher should, go forward with the student. If a teacher wants to get personal, they would have to have a reason behind it. Maybe you're feeling down, maybe they see you in class not performing well like you used to. Those would be those kind of signs that maybe my teacher's trying to help me. But like what Irving said, if they try to like contact them so much on social media outside of school for like personal uses and everything like that, then that might raise some suspicion. So Jimmy, coming back to you, I'd like to ask you, what are the communication expectations at school?
For the most part, it should be professional. There are times where it could be all laughing matters, but for the most part, it should be professional.
Sean?
Well, yeah, as like you said, it should be all work related, or what you're there for, what you're at school for is just to work or to learn and educate. And if the teachers aren't doing that, then that should be a sign.
Would you be okay if the teacher wanted to speak to you about some matter that you guys have basically like a hobby?
Depends. If they're just seemingly interested about like a hobby of sorts, I feel like that would be fine. But if it gets into any more touchy topics, then that might be something that you should be aware of.
Irving?
I would like to disagree with Jimmy. I do think there is an entire aspect outside of being professional, because I do think teachers all the way up until when you graduate college even, I think they have this personal aspect to your life where you can look up to them as a mentor, where they can help you outside of academics, because after all, you are spending a lot of time with them, so they can definitely teach you a lot of things about your life and about themselves that you can use in just the learning experience.
I would say towards education, it depends what your educational background is. If it comes to elementary, middle school itself, it would really be weird for the teacher to want to get to know you that personally when that does not need to happen. But when it comes to high school, they would need to know you based on you going to college. They would want to know how you are as a person, how you are outside of school. That would make sense. But in terms of educational backgrounds in middle school and elementary, that's pretty much off limits to talk about any kind of stuff like that, in my opinion. All right. So Irving, I would like to ask you this last question we have. How do you think the best methods of communication are, and why?
I think the ones of communication should be those reviewed by not only the school itself, but by the district, potentially by the state, so they can see any leeways that they might have to abuse that communication. But I think the programs that we have available right now, like Edmodo or Teams, like Sean said, there is a method of communication, but I think it doesn't get outside of the professional level.
So you would want it to be focused on education itself, not social media such as Facebook and Instagram.
Yes, exactly.
All right, Sean and Sean, Jimmy, any quick comments you want to say?
No, I agree with Irving said, as well as there are apps that are designed for that purpose of educating. So
Sean?
makes sense.
Yeah, I feel like our current apps are pretty good at doing that, but we just have to be aware of the other social media apps that people use regularly, like Instagram or Twitter, all that. And if they are communicating through professional apps, then it should be fine.
All right. Well, that's all we have for today. I'm your host, Alex Parra, and with my guests, Sean,
Bye.
Jimmy,
Pleasure to be here.
and Irving.
Thank you for the invite.
On Spot 127, this is SPOTcast.